With the WRX looking a lot different than it did last time we made one of these videos, I think it's a good time to go over every single mod that we've done to this car, and I don't think I've ever explained why whenever we've done this type of video. Because I'm sure it's cool to show off your build and all the different things that you've done to it, but also sometimes whenever I'm watching other people's videos, I want to know why did they do that type of mod. Because I'm sure everybody has different reasons, and it's just cool to hear different experiences for people of why they chose to do that modification to their car. Because I'm sure everyone's different. And since this car does look so different from last time we made a video like this, that's why I thought it was a good time to do it again. And the exterior is where we made the most improvements, so I think it's good to start there. And some things that are less important, like this cob front plate replacement thingy, we won't go as much in depth to, just because I'm not sure I really have a reason why it's there. And then we can come over here and talk about these smoke turn signals, which are kind of the same reason of the black and blue theme. These were orange before, and I bought these smoked ones because I thought that it looked a lot better with the car, especially considering that the headlights have a black kind of smoked housing to them. And these are the Spec D tuning headlights. I actually like these a lot. They came on the car, but were broken because the last owner did some weird wiring stuff to them. So I ended up just buying another pair, actually wiring it correctly this time, and I really love the daytime running lights, which is kind of why I bought them. You get these halos to light up, and you get these 3 lights here to light up that looks really nice at night, or even just while you're driving during the day or whatever. I just think that these like LED halo lights look really nice. Oh yeah, and this turn signal does have an orange bulb, so that way you can still tell it's kind of a turn signal. And now we go on to my 4-inch FRP hood scoop, which I am thinking about replacing. But the reason I kind of chose this because the stock one that comes on the 2002 WRX in America, I feel like it's just so tiny, and I wanted more of aggressive looking front end. It did look weird whenever I had the stock WRX wing on the back because the front I felt like looked a lot more aggressive than the rear. I am thinking about replacing it though because it was like an eBay mod, and I kind of just spray painted it in my basement, and I'm kind of getting over just like how much it sticks out, and I would rather get the JDM 2002 hood scoop that's a little taller than the one that normally comes on this car. And now I guess we can talk about tint. It has 15% the whole way around, or it's like 12%, but it's like in the teens. It's fairly dark. And then of course, I feel like everybody who has like a sports car tints it the whole way around. I did have 5% on it before, but it was just so dark, and I felt like it was unsafe to see at night, so I decided to go with 15. It's still a little bit dark at night, but I feel like it looks good enough in the daytime. I don't really drive this car at night that much, so I think that it was a good compromise between how dark 5% was and how more visible it is right now at like the 12-15 that it is. Now we'll talk about the side skirts. I haven't really researched them as much. I kind of feel like they're aftermarket, but I'm not entirely sure. I kind of want to paint match them. Right now they're just black because I haven't taken the time to get the car repainted, and I was going to get it all done at once. Because you can kind of see it has some peel, it has some dings and rust and stuff. And I felt like these were supposed to be paint matched, but I was kind of just waiting until we get the whole entire car done to get these done. And I might actually get ones that sit a little bit lower. I'm not entirely sure. This came on the car, which is kind of why I left it on there, because I think it does look good. But I think that everybody needs front lip side skirts and then some sort of flare or something in the rear, so that way it like makes the car more complete. And out comes my Strafe Design rear diffuser. I put this on the car to try and add some more aggression to the rear because I felt like it was a little bit lacking. But I think that with the side skirts and the front lip would flow a lot better than this, but I think for now it adds a lot of aggression to the rear that I actually like a lot. Then we've got this backup camera that goes to our Android Auto Apple CarPlay head unit, which I'll show you in a bit whenever we go over the interior. But this is really handy just because a lot of modern cars and stuff have these, and it helps to make this feel more modern. And now one of the last things on the exterior is this STI wing, which is actually bolted to a WRX trunk, and I didn't want to put an STI badge down there because we're not up badging, and this can kind of be seen as up badging, but I just feel like the car looks so much more complete with the STI wing on the back, and I feel like it's not as bad to put this on your WRX, and I kind of really like it on there as long as you don't put the STI badge on it, because it definitely looks sweet. I feel like it wraps the car together so much better having that on the back. But I know it gets some hate for some people, but I really just like how it wraps the whole car together being on there. And these parent inserts I like too. Again, they go with the black and blue theme. They came with the STI trunk whenever I bought it, and I'm debating on if I should take them off or not, but I kind of do like them on there, so I'm not entirely sure. You guys will have to let me know down below what you think of these being on the car. It definitely goes there, but is it a little bit too much for the OEM Plus look? Let me know. And now these Sparco wheels and Cooper Xeon RS3 G1s were just kind of a moment of opportunity on Tire Rack. So I'm not entirely sure what the model is of the Sparco wheel, but I knew that I wanted a spoked wheel like this because I just think it looks so much better that you can actually see like the brake caliper and the rotor and everything in there over the stock ones or some different ones where you can't see as much in there. I just think it looks so nice with the skinny spokes, and you can actually see the full caliper and see into there. Even though I'm sure some people think that doesn't go with the era of this car, like you have to have more of a sportier car to rock these wheels, but I actually think it looks really good on this car. And I believe these wheels are a 17 by 7.5, and the tires are a 225/45 R17. And like we just talked about, these calipers are an upgrade. So the car came with a 2-piston in the front, 1 piston in the rear. And even this upgraded one is just a little baby 2-piston. But this was definitely a must on this car, especially after having those old 20-year-old plus calipers on here and the rusted out rotors. It just definitely was in need of an overhaul, and these stop so much better than stock. Maybe because the old ones were rusted out, and a combination of just how much better these ones are. It was a little over $2,000 for the whole kit to put it on the car, and I was debating on getting the Brembos because I know you can get more stopping power than what these are going to give you, but I think it was a variance of price between like $2,200 for this and almost $5,000 to put the Brembos on it, and I was just thinking that this car is not really going to the track or need to use all the stopping power that you get with the Brembos. So that's what kind of led me towards my choice of just getting these. And I think it definitely does its job. I mean, you get increased stopping power over the ones that were on it before, which is kind of what I was looking for, but then you also get the looks. And something that you might be able to tell just from how this car sits, but you can't entirely see, is that we do in fact have coilovers from Fortune Auto. And these are actually the Fortune Auto 510 series, which are more track oriented, which I was kind of skeptical about putting on this car because it doesn't really see the track. It's kind of just like a weekend Canyon Carver, fun car to drive around in. And not only that, but the ones that I bought were 50% over valves. They were actually stiffer and kind of meant just for the track. But the deal that I was going to get on them was so good that I couldn't pass it up. I'm not entirely sure of the price of these if you just buy them straight from Fortune Auto, but I know that the price that I bought them for was probably like 50% off or something. So it was a deal that was too good to pass up. And with how much you can adjust the stiffness or the softness, I thought that even if I turned it all the way as soft as it goes, I could probably get away with it. And I actually found that turning it 6 clicks towards stiffer was better for me, but I'm still dialing it in a little bit. So most of the reason that I actually bought these Fortune Auto coilovers were that I knew I didn't want BC or one of those like $1,000 range coilovers. I wanted something really nice. Now going into the engine bay, there's some things you can see, some things you can't see. This car was not running this before, but with it running the Stage 2 tune from Cobb, I thought let's put the actual Cobb intake on it, because the last owner just bought some eBay one and put it on there, and I thought it's about time we put the right parts on here. And we've also got exhaust and downpipe on this, which you kind of can't see exactly. But after I put this new intake on, it finally has all the mods it needs to actually be running the Stage 2, because it was running it before, just not with the right mods on it. But now we have it all set up. And the reason that I kind of chose Stage 2 is because it was already on the car, and I also feel like it adds just enough power that this car feels more alive, but it's not anything super bad that's gonna affect your reliability. And some people might find that controversial, but over 3 to 4 years owning this car, it was Stage 2 the entire time, even running the incorrect mods. I have not had any problems outside of regular scheduled maintenance. It makes a little under 300 from what I can tell, and with the combination of the new brakes and the coilovers, I think it's all a good blend for what this car should be used for. It's not meant to be drag raced on the street or the highway or anything. It's meant to carve up the roads and the track, and the fact that you can use all of the horsepower and like floor this car and not worry about it slipping out, and you can like have all that usable power. But I think I do like how this car specifically is well rounded and that you can wind out each gear on the street, because that is a little more fun. So that's pretty much all the exterior stuff. I definitely at the beginning was a little crazy with how aggressive I wanted things to be, but I'm kind of winding it down, getting it more to an OEM plus look. Now coming on the inside here, we got the brains right here, V3 access port. I actually had a V2 that I used to tune this thing in the beginning and thought, I want to be able to live monitor. It's about time to upgrade. Nobody uses the V2 access port anymore, so V3 was a must to monitor all the different things that are going on in the car. And while we're down here, we'll talk about my Atutu Android Auto Apple CarPlay head unit, which connects to that backup camera we were talking about. So you wire up that backup camera to your reverse light, at least in this car, so it powers it whenever you put the car in reverse, and it pops up on here so you can see that the car is in reverse. We have a backup camera, and we can see everything behind us. I think it's flickering because the car's not on, but it actually works really well. I love this. Anything that makes your car feel newer than it actually is in terms of this is definitely a must, and I'm so happy this is one of the first kind of mods I put in the car, because I used to use it so much. So, you know, being able to play music, being able to see your maps, being able to have a backup camera, all these modern features are just great to add to your car, and I would never want to get rid of this. Now we have a dash cam. I didn't have one of these for a long time, but I definitely think with this car, it is a must. And a lot of cars in general, I feel like you definitely need a dash cam just because you want to hold people accountable if you get into an accident, even if it's your own fault. At least you have it on camera of what happened. And it's also nice because sometimes I can record clips of myself. Like if something happens on the road, I can pull the SD card out, make it like a short or a video or something. So it's definitely nice to have, hold people accountable, maybe even use it for content a little bit. And you know, this inside's pretty bare bones. I don't have like gauges or anything like that. But the last thing we have is this cob shift knob. There was a white one that came on the car just like this, and I think I just got so used to using that white one and loving the feel of it that I decided to get a black one so it actually goes with our black and blue theme, as we've talked about. And since I got so comfortable shifting with the white one, I just figured, even though it's very expensive, I think it was like $80 or something, I might as well just get the black one because I found a shift knob that I like. I don't really like the metal ones. This one's more like plasticky, like it's not super heavy. Because I've tried those ones before and it really just wasn't my favorite, so I'm glad I found one that I kind of like. It just sucks that it was like $80 to buy it. And you know, after kind of going over all this stuff, I can kind of see that it doesn't feel like we've done that much, but it's been like a 3-4 year process getting it up to speed. And it's amazing how you can do 3-4 years of work and just go over all of it in 15, 20, whatever minutes. But that is every single mod that I've done to my 2002 Subaru WRX and why I did it. But I'm very happy with how it sits right now. I think there is some room for improvement that we talked about kind of in the middle of this video, and that stuff will come in the future, but I definitely think paint is one of the biggest things that is wrong with this car right now. You know, you can see all the chips in the front, you can see it peeling up there. It definitely is one of the things that is holding this car back from looking its best, but if I had to modify this car again, I would basically do exactly what I did. I don't really regret doing any of my mods. There are some that I'm still going to change in the future, but I think that they serve their purpose. They help with the look of the car for the time, and that kind of helped me evolve through different stages of how I wanted it to look, which I'm sure is a feeling that everybody has with their car. They like something for a little bit, then decide to change it. Maybe the whole entire build goes a different direction than they thought it would. But like we said, this is every single mod that I've done to my Subaru WRX and why. Leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions of things that still need done to this car that you think it needs. Because I'm always open to hearing what your guys' ideas are. There's been plenty of times where a mod has been recommended and I didn't even know that that existed, or where even I could pick it up or anything like that. So drop a comment down below, like or dislike, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace!